Why do we lose so many soldiers in Kashmir? A common question raised by all whenever we lose Indian soldiers in Kashmir. We understand and respect this sentiment amongst the people, but there is something that might help you understand the situation better. Hello everyone, welcome to Resonant News. We would like to first pay our respect to the brave hearts of this country, who have made the ultimate and the supreme sacrifice for this nation. Do watch the complete video and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. During our research and discussion with professionals, we understood a few things that make Kashmir Valley very peculiar. By now, it's a well-known and accepted fact that throughout the world that it's Pakistan-trained terrorists who infiltrate inside our country. And it is not a conventional war that the Indian Army is fighting. We are fighting a LICO. LICO stands for Low Intensity Conflict. This might sound technical, but it is not difficult to understand. So what is LICO? Low intensity conflicts is a military conflict usually limited to an area between two or more state or non-state groups that is below the intensity of a conventional war. It involves the state's use of military forces applied selectively with restraint to enforce compliance with its policies or objectives. In India's case, the non-state actors are the terrorists trained in Pakistan, and the Indian soldiers are fighting against the non-state actors on their own soil. This low-intensity conflict is fought both in the urban environment and in the thick jungles of Kashmir. Add to it the unpredictable weather of the hills, steep slopes, and the tall trees. In India's case, such conflicts are fought in the urban environment and in the thick jungles of Kashmir. Fighting in an urban environment is called Fibua, which means fighting in built-up areas. Fibua offers some advantages to a weaker defending force, which in this case is the terrorist from Pakistan. One of the advantage is through ambush-induced attrition losses. At the same time, the attacking army, in this case the Indian Army, must account for three dimensions more often than usual in an urban setting and consequently expend greater amounts of manpower in order to secure many of the structures and mountains of rubble at a time. If you look at it, not a lot of armies in the world are in this peculiar situation other than Israel, where the army has to carry out operations, including those involving commandos, inside its own territories where terrorists can easily mingle with the civilian population. The terrorist has to get it right just once, but the soldier, on the other hand, has to not just protect the civilians, but also deal with the disadvantages of fighting in a built-up area. Probably the most important part here is that in Fibua, while fighting in the areas where there are buildings, the attrition ratio is very high. For 5 terrorists, we lose 1 soldier. It is true all across the world. Other disadvantages here are that tactics are complicated by a 3-dimensional environment. Soldiers have to be alert for the burst of fires coming from different directions. Soldiers also have limited field of view and fire because of the buildings. The terrorist on the other side has the advantage of enhanced concealment, which means extra place to hide. There have been cases in Kashmir where special basements were built under the houses for terrorists to live in. In one of the cases, a terrorist was hiding in a wardrobe-like place with a mirror to cover it up perfectly. So other disadvantage adding to the woes of the soldier are below ground infrastructure and the ease of placement of booby traps and snipers. You must have seen some pictures where our soldiers are seen dragging the bodies of the terrorists tied to ropes. This is done to avoid such booby traps. Terrorists who die try to cause maximum damage by hiding grenades underneath their bodies, which explodes when a soldier closes in to the dead body of the terrorist. These low-intensity conflicts come with a significant amount of stress for the soldier. Conventional military training takes a soldier to think clear and in clear-cut extremes like black and white, friend or foe. This tendency often leads to the problem in LICO, where the concept of enemy cannot be applied to one's own people. So the terrorists take advantage by hiding amongst the civilians. Adding to the woes of soldier is jungle warfare, where it is difficult to locate the soldier due to the thick vegetation and the presence of numerous caves in the region. Sometimes they make artificial shelters underground to hide themselves. Add to all this is an unpredictable and harsh weather along with the steep slopes, it's tough terrain. So often it's asked, why don't we use guns? The last time it was done was during Operation Sarp Vinash in the year 2003 in the month of April-May, when 64 terrorists belonging to various jihadi outfits were killed in an operation in Punch, Surankot region. The problem with using gunships is that we cannot use them against our own population. Indian forces, unlike American or NATO forces, are not fighting in a foreign country but on their own soil. Last year, during the year-end press conference, Director General of Police Dalbag Singh, while addressing the year-end presser, confirmed 186 militants which were killed, including 56 Pakistanis killed in Jammu and Kashmir in the year 2022. We lost 14 policemen and 17 security personnel, a total of 31 personnel. Ideally, every single loss of life is a big loss. There are some other reasons like poor equipment that can also cause loss of lives. Thankfully, there are efforts to modernize our forces, but sometimes it's pure bad luck. On April the 4th, 2020, in one of the deadliest operations seen along the line of control, hand-to-hand combat and close fire ensued in Jammu and Kashmir Keren sector, leaving 5 special forces personnel martyred in action, even as they managed to take out 5 terrorists who had sneaked in from Pakistan. The commandos were chasing a trail of footprints of terrorists which, when they reached a cornice, and the entire snow block collapsed, and the commandos fell right in front of the terrorist. A hand-to-hand fight ensued, and all the 5 terrorists were killed that day, but we lost the brave commandos of 4 para-SF. Let us hope in future technology would reduce the attrition rate, or that we will take the war to the enemy's soil. Hope you have liked the video. Do share our content with others if you found it to be informative. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.